It is Friday, April 11th. Welcome on back to the Blues. Great to have you here. Brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. If you're a basketball fan, if you're a Warriors fan, I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is you're going to go to the playoffs this year. The bad news is the playoffs start tonight for the Golden State Warriors. Not being in a play-in sounds wildly important to me. And the Golden State Warriors need to go 2-0. to make sure that that doesn't happen over their final two games. Now, the LA Clippers are going to be a headache coming in here Sunday. Until then, though, this evening, they are up in Portland. And let me just tell you, Portland is 10 games under 500. 10 games under 500. They are not going to the postseason. This is their NBA Finals tonight, trying to do damage to the Warriors' chances. And look, I'm sure you have seen an awful lot of folks that you go to for your Warriors information, all trying to figure out like what would happen in all these different playoff scenarios and permutations. There are way too many permutations of what could happen next if the Warriors win the next two, if they split their final two, if they go 0-2, what would that mean for them and all the other teams that are bunched up right in the middle of the Western Conference? What if they go, 2-0, 1-for-1, 0-for-2? Who does it? Who's got tiebreakers? Let me just tell you, it turns into a headache quickly. So go 2-0. That's my official advice to the Golden State Warriors. You're going to want to win these next two games because avoiding burning any gas in a play-in game sounds like a really, really good idea to me. Could you imagine if this team found itself in the play-in, they lose that first game for whatever reason, and now they're playing for their playoff lives? I mean, to be the 8th seed. What's weird is they might have a pretty good shot at the Thunder, but either way, win the next two. That is my official position on all of this. A Mofo Friday, that's what some people call it. It is really good to have you here. Like and subscribe. And again, my good friend Ike, he's got something absolutely delicious for you waiting in an Ike's. He's a cardboard cutout and he's a graphic. Most importantly, he's a sandwich maker. I'm a sandwich. He's a sandwich maker. Get yourself to Ike's. Boy, I hope there is one near you. And if there's not, I hope there is one soon. If you are thinking about buying lunch for the entire office, check out Ike's Catering. Make sure you sign up for that Love Rewards program, and you are going to be a very happy person when you do. You start earning free chips, free drinks, free sandwiches even, thanks to our good friend Ike. And I want to tell you about the Dubliner. Best Guinness in San Francisco. Go to the Dubliner. Get yourself a well-poured Guinness at the Dubliner West Portal, and that's a great place to go watch Warriors Blazers. It's a great place to watch Warriors Clippers. It's a great place to watch the NFL Draft, Giants games, NBA playoff games. Dubliner's just a fantastic bar. Don't take my word for it. Go find out for yourself and tell Kenny and John I said hello. I'm actually going to be popping into the Dubliner later this afternoon. I got a t-shirt for Kenny that I've been trying to get to him for like a month. I just haven't bumped into him. So that is what is going on. It is great to have you. We're going to tell you where you can go drink. We're going to tell you where you can eat. And that's why this is a valuable show, hopefully, to you. So, we got a little super here. This is from Jon Snow. Damn, is that the time of month for Larry? Yeah, Larry got all spicy on Wake Up. He thinks that, I guess, the 49ers should just take as much time as humanly possible to get a Brock Purdy contract done. I don't. I think that should happen now. I think that they should have done that before free agency, and they would have known a little bit more about the money that they could have been able to throw around. But that's just me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, unless, of course, it differs with Larry while you're talking with Larry, in which case, I don't know. He was definitely on one today. But you know what? It was a good show. And I can just tell you that Larry and I have been yelling at each other about sports for the better part of 20 years. So what happened today is no big whoop. You got to trust me there. Let's see. What else have we got going on here? This is going to be kind of a short one this Friday afternoon. Jillian and I got a little, some errands to run as we plan for a coming faster than we can see on the horizon trip to Japan. So very much looking forward to all of that. Few other things to get into, though, before we swing back around to the 49ers that have to do with the NBA. And, man, I couldn't believe the headline that I read today about John Morant. Ja Morant is wildly talented as a basketball player, and he is the only thing that is bigger than his talent is his commitment to immaturity. It's stunning. And this is where I guess, this is what happens when your dad tries to become your friend and stops being your dad and just lets you get away with anything you want to. Is that what's going on here? A story that I read on ESPN.com today about Ja Morant getting in trouble again for aiming imaginary guns. He's got, his 3-point celebration there, pistoleros, whatever. He broke it out on the Golden State Warriors, and then he continued to break it out as people were bringing it up, and everyone was like, well, Adam Silver is going to see this. And apparently, look, he was fined $75,000 for pointing a gun after a basket from outside the arc. Like, this is a guy who's been in problem, has a problem with gunplay on Instagram. We all know that he got suspended for that. You'd think that he'd be trying to separate himself from, I don't know, weaponry, real or imaginary, just, for the betterment of the brand. So, because everybody's got to be more clever than everyone else, his new celebration is like pulling a pin out of a grenade and throwing it. Ja Morant says, quote, he's even covered his ears to prevent himself from hearing the grenade exploding too, from hurting his ears too. So, he's got a commitment to the bit here. The guy just got a $75,000 fine. He said, that's my celebration now until somebody else has a problem with it. And then I'll find another one. That's my celebration until somebody has a problem with it. Like, he's just trying to rub the NBA the wrong way. Why would you try to bite the hand that feeds you? Why would you try to always, with your big toe, look for the line that you're not supposed to cross? All you got to do is go out, play basketball, not do gun weapon celebrations, and nobody is finding you for anything. It's just so weird. I seriously, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I mean, is it aren't you in the NBA? Isn't everything in your life pretty damn good? Otis being really nice about it. Ja, interesting guy. Maybe 49ers Red Zone. I blame video games. Oh boy, we've been blaming everyone in society's problems on video games for way too long. I don't think it's the video game. I mean, look, I like Call of Duty. I'm sure you do too. When you celebrate, do you go to weapons celebrations? I just don't get it. Didn't that Pods guy on the Warriors do that too, Jon Snow? If he did, I didn't see it. And I can also tell you that Brandon Pajemski has not been suspended for gunplay in his past. Reputations matter. Reputations matter. And Ja Morant has a bad one. Brandon Pajemski doesn't. So he is allowed to, I guess, tiptoe across that this might be a weapons-based celebration a lot easier than Ja Morant is. Let's see. Clown Man. As human beings, when you make billions off twerking and water gun shooting and get paid like spoiled brats, we've made it. No more victimized mentality, finger-pointing bullshitters. Again, does it offend me? No, not at all. Let him point his imaginary guns everywhere. Joseph is saying, hey, Damon, what about Shooter McGavin? Again, Shooter never was suspended by the golf tour for posting guns on Instagram. So it's different for him. As a father, it's on the parents, Joe. I tell you, as a guy who is doing an awful lot of parenting, young men too, I mean, I am trying to install good decisions and gentlemanly manners into them at all times. They're 5 and they're 3 years old, but there's never a good time, or there's never a bad time to start learning how to not get yourself in trouble. And it just feels like Ja has learned the lesson of, well, I'm going to do whatever I want until trouble comes to knock on my door. And then I'll do just enough to make sure the trouble's off my front porch, but not so much that it's not still hanging out on my property. Again, people, if there's a problem that is constantly surrounding you, it's not the variables around you that is the problem. It's probably you. It's probably you. Now, I guess that brings me to another story that we saw this week here. Tyreek Hill. Okay, Tyreek Hill, we all know what a fabulous football player he is. He's one of the best in the game. This guy is the rare wide receiver that has MVP conversations based around him, and that's how good he has been. Tyreek Hill is a football player. It's hard to argue with any of it. He seems untrustworthy in every other conceivable way. And it's just a pattern of behavior, again, to where you can no longer say, the world is out for me. It seems like you are your own worst enemy. You know, when the problem follows you, wherever you go, you're the problem. Got a problem at work, problem follows you at home, problem follows you to the club, problem follows you to your, commute to work? I mean, remember this whole thing with Tyreek Hill, like this guy got pulled out of his car before a game last season in Miami. And I know that, a conversation like that's got a lot of moving parts to it. But at the center of it, again, is Tyreek Hill just getting in trouble. This guy, the way that he treats his women is disgusting. The main gal, all the side gals, like he's got more kids than touchdowns. Like he doesn't seem to care about populating the earth with children he'd rather not have anything to do with. Like, again, before you say, wait a minute, man, criticizing his family life, that's out of bounds. No, I'm a dad. I got kids. That what he's doing is wrong. Having like what Anthony Edwards is doing, just like having kids with every Instagram model that he can have and saying, well, I didn't want him. Mom don't pay for him. I told her to get an abortion. She didn't. So here we are. Like, first of all, dude, the amount of millions of dollars that you're taking out of your own bank account so you don't have to put a condom on is just, it's a bad investment. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. So Tyreek Hill, right? Tyreek Hill is a guy that, I think every football team would want on their team as a football player, but as a person, he is begging the league to walk away from him. He's begging future teams to not be interested. He's begging the Miami Dolphins to move on. Now, look, when something happens and it's domestic violence and, I'm not in the room and that's not good. But again, we are our reputations, and Tyreek Hill's reputation ain't good. So these things follow you. These things follow you. Kid raising kids, I guess. I'll tell you, I agree with this too. Jon Snow, you are so right. Hold on here. Jon Snow, he's like Musk. What Elon Musk has done is disgusting with all the kids that he has sired. It's gross. It's absolutely gross. Michelle Haberman said, my dad asked me last night if John Morant ever got his act together. I said, well, he just got fined $75,000 for a gun celebration. So, seriously, I do not get it. I don't get it. There is such a clear path to how you don't get in trouble now, and you want to be in trouble on that path for some reason. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. What Larry and I thought about today on Wake Up. I don't understand why the 49ers have not just gotten it done with Brock, especially with, Brock basically saying April 22nd is when off-season workout programs begin. I sure would like a contract done before then if we're doing this. CBSSports.com story says contract drama has become a way of life for the 49ers. Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan, they say the right thing shortly after the season ends, but negotiations with these players have a tendency to become acrimonious even when they shouldn't. Our show might have become a little acrimonious. But look, it doesn't need to get there. And it seems like, the 49ers almost wanted to. Well, why not? Why not get it done? Well, it's a negotiation. All right, it's a negotiation that should be simpler than it's being propped up as. There are so many examples of who are the top 10 guys in the league. Brock's contract will look similar to theirs. The template that you need to put this contract together, the only thing that's going to change a little are the numbers, but it's all right there. I'm not saying it's boilerplate. I'm not saying the situation isn't sort of unique. It is a little bit. But look, Brock Purdy, we're 6'5". I think the deal's already done. It's weird. Very, very weird. 49ers had a little bit of a local pro day this week where they gather guys who got NFL potential. They take a look at them. They talk to them. They talk to the media. That went pretty well. We'll see what happens. I think the 49ers, not only do they have to be good in the draft, they're going to have to be good after the draft. They're going to have to add a handful of undrafted free agents. And I'm telling you, if you're an undrafted free agent of the 49ers, don't think you don't have a chance to make this roster. You do. You will have a chance. That's about it today. I'm seriously, I didn't have much for you today. I didn't. It's a Friday. The Masters is underway. What do we got? Justin Rose out in front. Is he still leading right now? Yeah, Justin Rose is -8. Today, he's 1 under. We got Bryson attacking. He is through 13, and he is -4 today. Now a stroke behind Rose, -7. McCarthy's on the leaderboard. We got Rory on the leaderboard. So, it does not get better than a weekend of couch naps based around Masters coverage, and that is coming our way. The old adage that the Masters don't start until the second round, or the second 9. Excuse me, I almost called it the back 9. That's enough to get you shot in Augusta, I'm pretty sure. When the second 9 begins on Sunday, that's when the Masters starts. That old cliche. It is true, though. It is so good. Who doesn't love the Masters? Who doesn't love the Masters? God, I just saw it was Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was asking for where can I find more Masters coverage? Nick Wright was like, download that Masters app. And Lil Wayne was like, thanks. So you can download the Masters app and follow anyone you like. It is so weird that the coverage of the Masters is, on alternate ESPN. How come it's just not on main ESPN? How come it's not on CBS? How come they don't go 24 hours a day Masters coverage, for goodness sakes? I think it would work. It's such a pretty sporting event. There is no prettier sporting event than the Masters, right? It's number one. Easily the best looking contestant in the swimsuit portion of this competition. Nothing's prettier than Augusta. Sporticus, the Masters app is awesome. I haven't even, I think I'm going to download it too. Yeah, I keep on hearing, look at it this way. If Nick Wright and, Lil Wayne are both endorsing it, and Sporticus, why wouldn't I? We got Otis Bird, kind of bummed out that Dave Fleming's going to miss the Giants-Yankees series, but hey, he's at the Masters. Again, look, there are very few things that sound better than going to Yankee Stadium to do some play-by-play to me. Masters is one of them. So look at it this way. When John Miller or Kruk or Kipe tell you, like, Dave Fleming's on assignment, they're going to tell you what that assignment is. They're not just going to leave it some nebulous on assignment. They're going to be like, he's at Augusta. And they're going to be a little jelly too. There's no doubt. No doubt. I love the pictures of all the private airports and all the private airplanes that have flown into Augusta this week. It is the gathering of the ultra wealthy. Eat the rich. So look, I promised you very, very early on, we were never going to waste your time here on this program. And I feel like if I kept on going over everything, I'd be going over ground that we've already gone over several times. Do you need to hear more about 49ers draft boards, mock drafts, or draft speculation? We're 2 weeks away. Thank God. Here it comes. Do you need to hear another word about how I think that the Brock Purdy situation should be resolved by now? I just don't. I don't know why not. I don't know why not. The Golden State Warriors, all they need to do is win their next 2 games to make the path in front of them a little bit easier. We'll see if they can do it. All they needed to do the other night was beat the San Antonio Spurs without Wembanyama or De'Aaron Fox at home. No Greg Popovich, but they weren't able to do that. I mean, the loss to the Rockets was rough. The loss to the San Antonio Spurs, a lot rougher. It's a time of the year where you just cannot take your eye off the ball. And man, Damon, if you were Kerr, how would you manage Kuminga's minutes, or how would you best utilize him to maximize returns the rest of this season? How's he rebounding? How hard is he playing? What is he doing in all of his defensive rotations? And if that is all, green checks, that's good, leave him out there. But when it's not good, that's the thing. Kuminga is one of those guys, you can almost see it coming early. He's in tonight. He's locked in tonight. You're going to get a good Kuminga performance tonight. You can tell about halfway through his first run in any game what kind of game you're going to get out of him. If it's not right, here's the thing. Players who are not performing get short leashes when postseason play begins and when end of regular season games matter. I think Kuminga is along for the ride this year. I think in this offseason, he probably gets traded for veteran help. And I like the guy. It's not like I want to give up on him. But if the end of the day is really about putting the Warriors in best position to compete, raw talent and athleticism isn't more important to them than a level of basketball IQ and fit with this team. I just did a short this morning on Kuminga and how he, for a guy who's so fast and so athletic, he doesn't react fast enough to the way plays are setting up in front of him and around him. And this was an offensive play. So defensively, it's a little bit of a headache there too. And I don't know. I do know that he's not a $200 million contract level player. He's not there yet. And I don't think the Warriors are going to want to give it to him. By the way, let me tell you about one thing we do have coming up. On Tuesday, next week at 9 p.m., I am going to be doing a Warrior playoff preview show that is going to be able to take calls, not just video calls, but like we've done where I'm clicking it in the past, but like we're going to actually have tickets. The tickets are free, but you'll be given a ticket, you'll contact a producer, and you'll be joining me. I'm working with this new company to maybe do a branded call-in show. And so we're going to start with a Warrior playoff preview at 9 o'clock Tuesday night next week. And we will be giving you more information. Check out the YouTube post. Check out Twitter for those of you who want to sign up and be a part of that show. It's going to be an experiment that we're doing. It'll be broadcast on YouTube across Twitter, and it'll hopefully be good. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, we always break for supers, especially a big, generous one like this from San Bruno Mike, putting 50 in the ganja jar because it's a Mofo Friday. Well, cheers to that. Let that logo do its work, Damon. Get that work up. Thank you, San Bruno Mike. Really appreciate it. Wow, that sounds dope. I hope so, Otis. It's going to be something that we're experimenting with. So Tuesday next week, I hope you plan on being a part of it. More information will be coming to you soon. So How do we wrap up a show on a Friday? Well, basically the same way we wrap it up each and every day. We do it with a little today in history. When it comes to who was born today in history, the answer is nobody. Really, nobody of significant note was born today in history. And that is highlighted a little bit later on in this segment, but we'll get there in just a bit because we go chronologically like history suggests you should. Today in 1876, the Benevolent Order of the Elks was organized in New York City. The Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elks was organized in New York City. Do they even have Elks Lodges anymore? When's the last time you saw an Elks Lodge? Like, I remember growing up in upstate New York, and then we even got to Indiana. You know, there were Elks Lodges all over the place. You know, it was like where old men and World War II veterans got together. Elks Lodges. Are there still Elks Lodges? Is that still a thing? Is that still a thing? Either way, happy birthday, Order of the Elks, I guess. Today in 1945, the American Third Army liberated Buchenwald, which was a concentration camp in Germany, and that is when the scope of the Holocaust really started coming into focus. There is a Band of Brothers episode that is about this moment where, you know, a group of officers on patrol stumbles upon a concentration camp for the very, very first time. It's a brutal episode. But there you go. Big day today as World War II was coming to a close. As I told you, not a lot of significant birthdays today, and not a lot of significant things actually happened on this date, April 11th. And in 1954, someone who was doing a this day in history in 1954 said that according to a computer trafficking program that tracks news, today, April 11th, 1954, is the single most boring day in American history. It's maybe the most boring day in global history. April 11th, 1954. The most noteworthy events of the day included a general election in Belgium and then the birth of a Turkish academic. Like when I was saying, I was looking for like big birthdays today. There really aren't any. There's not a lot going on today. I'll tell you what did go on today. Today in 1970, Apollo 13 was launched from Cape Canaveral. The launch went really well. The return trip, not as smooth. Great movie. What is that? Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise. Apollo 13 is such a good movie. A tough trip back for Jim Lovell, John Swigert, and Fred. Was it Haas? Either way, Apollo 13 launched a lot better than it landed. Today in 1976, you want to talk about a significant date for computing, the internet age, and tied right here to the Bay Area. Today in 1976, the Apple Computer 1, known as Apple One, was officially created. They were initially all hand-built by Steve Wozniak. So the first time Steve walked out of that garage was saying, I got a computer, was today. Today, in 1976. Today in 1981, it was the power couple of the early 80s. Today in 1981, Van Halen's Eddie Van Halen married Valerie Bertinelli, who was a sweetheart for America. One day at a time, people love one day at a time. People love Van Halen. The two of them getting together. I mean, they were great, right? Eddie Van Halen, Valerie Bertinelli, was good. They gave us Wolfgang. As I told you, we don't do movies. We don't really do movies in Today in History because I don't want this to walk too far down the pop culture path. But when you get to April 11th in 1997, and then when you get to April 11th in 2001, we got two first ballot Hall of Fame terrible, great movies or great, terrible movies, whatever way you want to frame it. Today in 1997, we got Anaconda. Anaconda, Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, and Jon Voight with the single worst accent in the history of cinema. Jon Voight's accent in Anaconda changes 3 times in the movie, and at no point in time can you ever even come close to discerning what is he trying to be? Where did this accent come from? It is the weirdest accent in a remarkably entertaining bad movie. Was it LL Cool J? No, I think it was Ice Cube. Yeah, it was Ice Cube. It was Ice Cube in Anaconda. It wasn't LL Cool J. LL would not have attached himself to a movie like this. In 2001, April 11th, 2001, Joe Dirt. I don't know if David Spade has contributed anything to the world of entertainment. Not Tommy Boy, not anything that I've liked as much as Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt is a terrible movie, and it's fantastic all at the same time. So there you go. There you go. It is also National Pet Day. So if you got a pet, go ahead and pet it. And there you go. I want you all to have a great weekend. I will tell you more next week about that special broadcast we have coming up on Tuesday night. I'll be dropping little hints this weekend across social media as well. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Get yourself a sandwich at Ike's. Get yourself to the Dublin or West portal. Thank you for being here today. Hit like and subscribe. Again, I knew when I went with a thumbnail about the Golden State Warriors, it was going to be a smaller crowd today. This was the regulars here for the live broadcast. Thank you very much for being a part of the Plus and supporting and liking and subscribing and checking out merch, maybe even think of becoming a member. It's been fantastic. The last 28 days, the channel is, look, we will be at 40,000 subscribers probably this time tomorrow. That's unbelievable. We've added about 10,000 subscribers in just a little bit more than 2 weeks, thanks to a video which is now nearly at 10.5 million views. A short that was done with AI about Steph Curry is the most successful thing I have put out into the world in my life. I've never done anything that's gotten 10.5 million anything. This thing is cooking, absolutely cooking. So thanks to that video, more people have found the Plus, more people have subscribed than ever before in just the last 2-3 weeks. It's really been something else. So thanks for being a part of that. If that's what brought you here for maybe the first time today, I hope you come on back for more live streams. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. And please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.